Hey, what's up? You're watching Sit Down. I'm DJ Sixsmith. Andrea Riseborough is here with us. ZeroZeroZero, March 6th, coming to Amazon Prime. Nice to meet you.
It's lovely to meet you.
How's everything?
It's really good.
So you had this beast of a project. You're traveling all over the world. You're in many different locations, and now we get to see the full thing. So what was it like putting this whole thing together for you guys?
It was epic. It's shot in 5 different locations. And for the most part, it's actually shot in the real locations it's set in, which is so unusual for anything.
Usually you fake it or something like that, right?
Yeah, it's always like, oh, you know, we're doing a story in Iceland and we'll be shooting in Atlanta.
Right.
And which is difficult in itself, because I think wherever you are permeates, it ends up affecting so much of the way that you shoot, you know? So it was fantastic to be in every real location for the most part on this one. And we started off in Louisiana. We were in New Orleans for quite a while, and then Mexico City, and then Calabria in Italy. And after that, we were in Morocco in the middle of the desert, and then we went to Senegal. And we were in those places, each of them for a substantial period of time. That's
awesome. So I look at this picture of you here, and you're really the mastermind of this whole cocaine business here, and you're pulling the strings. So when you see yourself in character here, what are some of the things you start to think about?
Well, it's funny when you look at yourself on the outside, isn't it? I'm always like, oh, I didn't realize she had those pants.
You're so locked into what's going on for your character. You're not even looking at the other things, right?
Also, I think Emma is my character in the story, and the role that she plays basically is that she runs the family business, and she's unwittingly a cocaine dealer. That's not something she'd ever say.
Right. She looks at more from the business angle as opposed to the drugs.
She doesn't. There's a huge, thick fog of denial that lies over their family and has done for many generations. You know, they're a shipping company. Is their front. But they also probably began as a shipping company. Who knows what they would trade? I mean, it's the port of New Orleans, so they probably have quite a dark history of the things that they were trading in and out of that port. Now, they're moving around shipments of pineapples. And I think part of the way that Emma copes with the reality of what she's actually doing is that she is fully invested in those pineapples. But here, that's New Orleans there. And looking at it from the outside, it's funny because when I was playing her, I always felt very much like she was absolutely a man.
What do you mean by that?
You know, there are ways to interact in the world, you know, gender or agender, which involve, you know, some people love being in their divine feminine, some people love, you know, there are all sorts of different phrases for the way that people interact with the world. And Emma was a particularly interesting character because I felt like rather than fight against the system, she absolutely adopted it. So she sort of becomes, in every way, even the way she walks and expresses herself, very androgynous. So it was interesting. It was just interesting to interact powerfully, not really as a woman, but as if one were a man, essentially.
Yeah,
that's the usual thing about Emma.
It's not gender specific, it's not gender focused. You're just focusing on the trade, on the business, and infiltrating this world is what it seems like.
Yes, for her, she wants respect.
Right, whereas you see some of these other shows where it's like, it's a woman, and we know clearly it's a woman, and it's like she's here with all the other guys, and that's really the storyline. It doesn't seem like that's the case.
Fortunately, she's not running around in a bikini, which would also be very awkward if you were trying to do a big drug deal.
Can you imagine that?
Really distracting. But she's a really fantastic, interesting character, and there's a wonderful character in the series who's a Don, an old Italian, very, very powerful, of an old Italian, very, very powerful family. And he's almost, I think, in many ways, I think is her role model. I think what she craves and what every figurehead in ZeroZeroZero craves in each different country that we shoot in is respect. And that's not necessarily, you know, respect and power are the two most important things. Roberto Saviano says it in his book ZeroZeroZero, where he kind of has written a book about, he sets this world essentially, but without these characters. So the book is about, it's almost a hybrid of literature and journalism. You know, he's taken some things he believes to be fact, hearsay, and really created this epic story about how cocaine, how this world is built on the cocaine trade, how the modern day world relies on the cocaine trade in a way that we may not always be aware of. It's a really fascinating book if you get the chance to read it.
Yeah, what fascinates you the most about this world, the cocaine industry, and just like that balance between power and respect?
I think one of the things that entices me most about it is, you know, you go out on a Friday night, people are partying, you know, they're putting whatever they're putting up their nose on the Lower East Side, here in New York. Do they know the journey that stuff has been on?
Definitely not.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's what this series does, is that it interestingly starts off there. I mean, it's not sensationalized, which I love about what they've created, the creators of ZeroZeroZero.